Welcome back to our YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. There is a heartbreaking story that has been shared by the British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC, and it is touching on the negligence of the Kenyan authorities. This is a story about our elderly being mistreated in Thogoto home care for the elderly. Apparently, in Thogoto there is a home that is supposed to care for our elderly grannies. This is a non-profit entity, as they say, and it was established a few years ago under the patronage of the Presbyterian Church. But it is being run privately. The management is now under private management. It is not attached in the church in terms of management. A few years ago, Hebrew TV escalated what is happening in that home, and the manager there, Madam Jane Gaturu, gave us a picture of a little home, a little heaven inside that home. She gave us a facade of everything that is going well. When Hebrew TV visited them, there were a lot of complaints concerning this home, and so it took the intervention of the BBC to try and find out what is happening. So they employed undercover reporters who went there, sought for employment, and they were employed in that home. Now, let us just see what is happening. It is reported that vulnerable residents at a care home for the elderly near Nairobi, Kenya's capital, have been mistreated and neglected. A BBC Africa Eye investigation has revealed. And it goes on to say that secret filming shows staff members physically mistreating residents, dumping food directly onto tables without any plates, and leaving medical conditions untreated. You know, it's very sad because when the BBC undercover reporters went there and they posed as employees, they interviewed some of the staff members, they interviewed some of the residents who are there, and they found out that the situation is very pathetic. They are physically beaten. They dump food. Ile tu wanachukua chakula wanakuwekelea kwa meza hapo bila kuweka kwa sahani, wanakupakulia tu. Alafu wale ambao ni wagonjwa haupelekwi hospitalini. Now I want us to look at a few examples so that you know that this is not just something that is being talked about. The picture that you're seeing on the screen there, those are two caregivers in uniform, in blue, that is navy blue uniform. It's recorded that the elderly mama you see hapo katikati in the middle had strayed, had gone to, I think some had stepped into a place that was out of bound, and they caught her. And the BBC is reporting that you could hear voices asking, umetoka wapi, ulikuwa unaenda wapi, umeitwa na umekataa kuja. And so they are caning. One person is holding that elderly woman and the other one is caning. And if you look at that stroke, it's big enough. This is not a cane. This is like a rod. It's big. It's not something that should be used to hit anyone. And so they are hitting this elderly woman, and this elderly woman is pleading for mercy. And this is just but one example. It is said that it is a norm in that home, a place that is supposed to be a little heaven, a place that is supposed to give solace and peace to our elderly women. They are physically assaulted and beaten. The other photo that we have there, very disturbing, is that old man, like my grandfather, who has got some skin diseases. Now it is reported there that the family members gave out some money to the manager, Madam Gaturu, but he was never taken to the hospital. Now, worse still, it is reported that when he demanded to be taken to the hospital, he was told that your home is just a few kilometers away, but your people have neglected you. They don't need you. So what makes you think you will survive here? And then it is also reported that many have died there. The undercover reporters are reporting that there are people who have died there, and it is normal to those who are working. This undercover reporter saying that sometimes he could go inside a toilet, switch off his cameras, and start crying because what is going on there is very pathetic. The third thing is that they dump food on the table. It's not in any plate. Now they treat you like, I don't know how to explain this. Now, to make it worse, ladies and gentlemen, this is a non-profit making organization. They depend on donations. People give out food and money. Now, the undercover reporters are saying that food is bundled in vehicles of senior officials. Wanachukua vyakula, mkishapeleka pale, wanachukua. They appeal to you, you donate those food thinking that the food is going to help the elderly, yet it is the government, the senior officials who take the food materials that have been donated. Surely, this is very inhumane. Yani, Wakenya tumefika mahali, hatuna utu. So you can imagine a person who does not have food, and even if there is that food, it is bundled on the table. Some of them are so weak that they cannot even eat by themselves. The feet, the hands are trembling. They're supposed to be helped out, and they are not being helped. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not touched by this story, then you are made of stones. You are a beast, you are not a human being. Now, why is this happening, and why am I saying that it has really exposed our government? You see, for example, this person who was suffering from skin diseases, because the undercover reporter was saying that he was bleeding. It is like the outer skin, is it the melanin or something, has come out, and now the skin is exposed to air, cold, warmth, and all those hot, and is really suffering. The government regulations demand that before you establish such a home care, whether for the children, for the elderly, there must be a kind of a medical facility. Vile unaona tuko na matron in a girls' schools or wherever, some kind of a nurse who can deal with emergency and situations like this. They will assess the disease, the nature, and they can refer you. You get help from now, even a more facilitated hospital, then you can come back. But you know, taking someone who is as old as this granny, then you confine him or her in a place he or she does not get treatment. So there is no treatment, the condition is worsening, there is no food, the food that is donated is taken away by the senior, staff. So the government has really manifested a lot of laxity, because there must be conditions. This Madam Gaturu confessed that they do not have any hospital or any medical facility, any medical personnel. They depend on maybe outsiders to help. But this is not the way to go. Before you establish such a thing, the government must ensure that before you allow such an establishment, then they must adhere to the law and to the policies to the fullest. And then there must be follow-up. You see, there must be regular checkups where the government will visit these homes and find out what is happening. Others will continue losing people like this. Number two is corruption. Corruption is the major monster that is eating us. You see, you will see a government official going there to inspect and gives the green light for the establishment of such an important institution, yet they have not met all the conditions. Kwa nini wamepewa kitu kidogo? So we endanger the lives of our own fellow citizens because we have pocketed something. We don't look at the bigger picture. We are looking at what is getting into our pocket, which is very wrong. Before the eyes of man, before the eyes of God, it is very wrong. And if we don't slay the corruption monster, I'm telling you, Kenya will plunge into some situations that we will regret. You've seen even buildings collapsing. And when you ask who approved the building, you are told the city engineers. Someone came and knew very well that the foundation was not well established. But you gave him 20,000, then he goes away. After some months, he comes, looks at the first floor, Linton, nini, you give him something, and he approves of a building that will kill over 100 people. Because of dirty money, you kill people. I really feel very bad. And we really need to now, exercise what we call community policing. Be your brother's keeper, so that when you see such kind of things, report them. If the government cannot take action, then we now need to call upon the media to help highlight this. This is what happened in Shakahola. Things are happening when the government is busy campaigning, the government is busy, following up Azimio. The government is busy blaming Uhuru Kenyatta. The government has lost focus. Otherwise, such kind of things cannot happen. We are dealing with a government that is reactive rather than being proactive. We should avert these things before they reach to this level. As we speak, I'm told that the BBC reporter reported this to one man called Joseph Motari, who is the Principal Secretary for Social Protection and Senior Citizens Affairs. We have an established office with a secretariat, security, being established, being facilitated by taxpayers' money. So they went and reported this, and he just said that, I just want to quote him, that should we find anybody abusing, harassing, maiming these older persons, I can assure you the necessary punishment would be inflicted on whoever does that, he said. But you see, the Kenyan scenario is that it is our norm that we simply make statements here and there. Let me tell you, did you know that even in this government, there are people who take away the money that is meant for the older people? It comes from the government, but before it reaches the person, kila mtu amechukua yake, sometimes they don't even get it. How inhumane can we be? So we are being called upon to help report such kind of things. You saw what happened with the Bitcoin, is it the Worldcoin? We wait for something to happen, then we react. Ni kama saa zile umeibiwa na wajambazi hapo, then wezi wamekuja, wamekuibia. The moment tu wamemaliza ndio polisi wanafika hapo. Wako wapi? It's our nature. Ladies and gentlemen, we should condemn this, and the government must follow this and find out those who are responsible for this act of atrocities must be brought to book. But I wonder whether this will happen, because even at the national level, the police is busy killing people on the streets. So they will not see any difference between what they are doing and what is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, let us spread this and condemn this and urge the government to take action. And that is my take.